Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer. Okay, so today we're diving into this really fascinating breakdown of a topic that honestly hits incredibly close to home for a lot of us. We're looking at a short, highly relatable animated piece from a creator who is tackling a very specific type of weakness. And right off the bat, you should know this whole exploration was actually sparked by the creator's triumphant return to making animated content, because they noticed their audience was just absolutely loving it. But the title here, Weakness? Well, it's actually a bit of a trick. It's intentionally misleading. See, when you hear the word weakness, you probably immediately picture, physical weakness. The source material actually jokes about this, picturing a malnourished kid getting bullied in school, maybe literally being treated like a human pencil by the other kids. But we need to clarify right out of the gate that we are absolutely not talking about being physically weak here. Instead, we're exploring something way heavier and honestly way more common. We're talking about a deep, exhausting mental weakness. It's that overwhelming sensation of feeling completely stuck and just totally drained, where it honestly feels like your life has just come to an absolute standstill. All right, let's get right into section 1, the passion versus pressure trap. So this intense mental fatigue, it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's born from a very specific, very modern conflict that almost all of us go through. It's that weird paradox where your life feels completely paused, yet ironically, you have literally never been busier. This fatigue comes from what feels like a daily hellish cycle. We're looking at this inescapable, exhausting loop. You've got daily assignments piling up, constant studies that feel like they never ever end, heavy family pressure, and just the whole overarching, exhausting need to maintain this perfect, good impression for everyone around you. It's a compounding weight. Every single day, these obligations just stack right on top of each other, turning a normal student or professional life into something that feels incredibly restrictive and just so draining. And here is the absolute most painful reality of being in that cycle. You can never do what is truly in your heart. Despite having these really strong desires, creative passions, or even just hobbies you genuinely want to pursue, they are constantly being pushed aside. You know that intense desire to do something meaningful to you? Well, the sheer weight of all those daily pressures just completely crushes that opportunity before it even gets a chance to begin. It's an incredibly stifling feeling. Which leads us to this highly relatable, almost heartbreaking internal thought. Translated, it basically means, now it's time for that SIRS class. This specific quote captures that exact pinpoint moment of defeat. You're right at the absolute peak of your passion, you're finally ready to dive into what you love, you've got the motivation, and boom, this thought abruptly interrupts. The reality of your schedule kicks in, and it instantly kills your creative momentum. It's literally the ultimate buzzkill, forcing you right back into the grind. Which brings us to section 2, the frustration of feeling stuck. Because when that interruption happens, it leaves behind this very specific emotional residue. It's this weird, burning feeling of frustration right in your gut. And it's not just everyday annoyance, right? It's a deep internal conflict that happens when you realize you have to actively sacrifice the very thing you love doing just to satisfy these external demands. That burning frustration leads us to a core question, just as the source material prompts us. Why do we drop what we truly want to do? Like, actually think about it for a second. In these moments of high pressure, why is our own personal passion the very first thing we throw overboard? Why do we abandon our own desires so quickly just because the schedule gets tight? Well, it's because we have so deeply internalized the idea that studies and other formal obligations are equally or frankly way more important. Society, family pressure, the desperate need for that good impression we talked about earlier, it all essentially trains us to prioritize the grind above all else. We willingly drop our passions because deep down we've accepted the narrative that our personal desires just have to take a backseat to our formal duties. We totally convince ourselves that it's the responsible thing to do. And the result of all that, giving up your passion leaves you with this blank, deeply frustrating feeling that is almost impossible to explain to anyone else. It is a highly specific type of mental burnout. Because, if you try to tell someone about it, it just sounds like you're whining about doing your homework or your chores. But it's so much deeper than that. It's the exhaustion of an unfulfilled spirit. And the source perfectly validates this. If you relate to this feeling, trust me, you are absolutely not alone in finding it incredibly hard to articulate to the people around you. Moving on to our final section, finding solidarity and next steps. The tone shifts beautifully here because the creator steps right in to offer some complete solidarity. They understand this blank frustration entirely. In a perfect moment of irony, the creator actually notes that they themselves have to run off to Sir's class right at that moment. But to fight back against that terrible feeling of being stuck, they're carving out a dedicated space for their passion. They've just launched a brand new Instagram account dedicated strictly to animated content. It's going to be purely animated posts, serving as a dedicated creative outlet, and they are promising guaranteed fun. It's a really practical, awesome way of ensuring their true passion doesn't get entirely swallowed up by the daily grind. Of course, before they actually run off the class, they leave us with a standard sign-off. Like, share, and subscribe for the next one. Just a quick friendly reminder to support the creator's main channel. Thank you so much for walking through this short, incredibly relatable breakdown with me today. It's always so fascinating to see these very real, very human experiences captured so perfectly. Plus, it's a great reminder that our favorite creators are navigating the exact same pressures that we are. But before we completely wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, pretty provocative thought. Are you dropping your true passion today just to maintain a good impression?